Well, Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. What we have here are hundreds of high-carbon steel tent stakes. This is what you'll be making your blades out of. Now, as far as techniques, that's all up to you. Now, let's talk about what you're going to be building. You're going to be building this. Bladesmiths, this is the Sawback Machete. And when you're building yours, make sure they fall within these parameters. Your blade length needs to be between 11 and 13 inches. You need to be set up for a full tang handle construction. Now, by the end of round 2, you will all need to have between 8 and 10 inches of the spine of your blade covered in saw teeth. Time starts now.
I'm working on a canister Damascus billet. It's the quickest, most probability of success.
I have done canister Damascus one other time. I'm a little nervous about that, but that's okay. I'll do what I can.
I am choosing canister due to the fact that I believe it will be the safest route to go.
Andrew was the only one who used whiteout.
I decided to use whiteout because it lines the inside of the canister, and then the metal billet should come out easier.
Richard's going to the press.
I am going to set my welds 3 times because the worst thing that you can do with Damascus is have unset welds. You open that can up and powder and clumps of stuff fall out.
Bladesmiths, you only have 2 hours remaining. Cheyenne's going for her first press.
I'm rushing around. I'm moving way too fast, getting ahead of myself. And I burnt myself.
It's like Cheyenne burned her finger.
Not that hard to do out there.
Oh, no.
I have to hurry up and get it taken care of because I need to keep working on this blade.
So her having spent time with the medic really might have helped her with that heat.
But that's not a recommended strategy, folks.
All that is going through my mind is, how is my metal doing in that forge?
Oh, look at that. That's what we should be seeing. That downtime she had seeing the medic. Look how hot that bar is. That's going to consolidate any weld problems that she has at this point.
Now that I've set my welds, I head straight to the grinder, so that way I can check and see if I have solid steel underneath it. The welds look pretty good. And now it's time to start drawing it out on Big Blow.
If Andrew does this properly, it might take him 10 more minutes to knock that can off on the outside. If he doesn't, if he's welded that can in, if the whiteout didn't work for him, he could be banging on that thing for the next 30 minutes.
Finally, it pops off. I'm looking at the clock. The pressure's now on me because there's absolutely no time to make another blade.
Shaping my blade is extremely difficult because I need to not only get the shape right to the standards, I also have to add a saw blade on the back.
Ben put salt on his blade.
For what reason?
Salt melts at 1475. Perfect quench temperature.
That's awesome.
Now that my salt's melted, it's time for me to go into the quench. And I get a giant fireball in my face. It was pretty hot.
Boom.
Nice.
All right, Ben is in the oil.
It looks straight, thank God.
Holy moly, that was a hot blade.
When I pull it out of the oil, it looks pretty good. I file test the blade and it skates right across, so I got a perfectly hard blade.
There you go. Not bad. So Richard just quenched.
I pull out my billet and there's a warp.
It's not a good time to have a warp.
This warp could send me home.
All right, Cheyenne's quenched.
The file skates off the blade. I want to scream at the top of a mountain that I did it.
Bladesmiths, you're at 15 minutes left.
The clock's running down, and I gotta remove as much meat as I possibly can.
As I'm grinding my blade, I could see a crack towards the tip and another crack in the middle.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, turn off your machines, put down your tools. The first round of this competition is over.
Where'd it go, man?
Yeah, man, you too.
All right, Bladesmiths, well, you all made it past the first 3 hours of this competition, so congratulations. But the time has come for the judges to critique your work and decide which one of you will not be joining us in the second round. All right, Andrew, you're up first. Please present your work.
All right, Andrew, your shape, pretty much machete. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. But the part that really worries me is cracks. You got here, you got delaminations up here. When you quenched, it was just way too hot and it caused issues. But overall, you did a great job.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, Ben, please present your work.
All right, Ben. First up, I like the shape that you have of the blade here. It has a nice look for a machete. But the thing that gives me pause is the thickness of that spine. The good thing is I do not see any delaminations or cracks. Just needs to lose a lot of the weight, and also you're gonna have to start putting that sawback back over there.
Good job. Thank you, sir.
Richard, how are you feeling, sir?
Feeling good.
All right, please present your work.
All right, right off when I look at this, I see the profile that I was expecting to see, so well done on that. But the biggest issue that this blade has is that warp. Now, there's a lot of ways to take care of this in a second round, and if you move forward in the second round, I think that's one of the most important things you can do for this blade is to get that straightened out. But I think it's doable. Nicely done.
Thank you, sir.
Cheyenne, please present your work.
All right, Chance, talk about your machete here. You have a nice profile of machete. The thing here, though, is it is a very thick blade, making it very heavy. A lot of this has to be removed to make it much lighter and wieldable if you move forward.
The Bladesmiths, you all did a great job. But unfortunately, only 3 of you are going to be joining us in the second round of this competition. Our judges have discussed your blades, and they made a final decision. The bladesmith leaving the forge is Andrew. Unfortunately, your blade didn't make the cut, and Dave Baker's going to tell you why.
Andrew, you did a great job removing that can, but your blade developed some problems, both delaminations, cracks, and that puts into question the structural integrity of that blade. That's why we're letting you go.
I understand, sir.
Well, Andrew, unfortunately, your time in this competition has ended. I'm going to have to ask you to please surrender your work and step off the forge floor. Thank you so much.
I feel pretty disappointed. I probably could have done a better job, but at the end of the day, there were cracks and delaminations in my blade. I'm sure if you struck that knife on something, a hard surface, it probably would break.